Hey everybody, I'm Gracie.
And I'm Ann.
And we are Little Things Big Difference. And this is the place where we talk about all of the little things that make a big difference in your life. So today's topic is how to not be offended.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
So as we're talking about this, I need to go ahead and make a confession.
Okay.
I actually was offended this week.
Uh-oh.
So I was in the grocery store, and normally when I see people that I know, I like hit the other line. Like I just kind of avoid them. And I know that's not the mature thing to do, but whatever, it's reality. And I happened to just not even see this person, and then all of a sudden we were, looking for the same thing and all of this, and this person was, started talking to me, and he said, is your husband Corey? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, oh, I went to high school with your husband. We graduated together. And I was like, great. Because here's what y'all may not know is that I also graduated with my husband. And it was so offensive to me that this person did not even remember me. And he's like, what's your name? And all of this. And,
Oh my
and it
gosh.
just took me back to that time when I was in high school, and I was completely ignored by the popular kids, which were my husband's, crowd. And so it was just so offensive, and I found myself just feeling that just really in my soul and just kind of taken back to the past pain.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah, I guess I should confess too. I actually got offended this week too. It's so easy, you guys. That's why we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So there was something that I said that was totally taken not the way that I intended for it to,
Yeah.
and it came back around, and I was kind of confronted about it, but not in a position where I could defend myself because I didn't want to look like the person who was defending myself over something that I said, and so it made me very offended. And my blood pressure was just, whoop, 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 up. So it definitely, we have definitely experienced this week,
Yes.
how to be offended. And so we really felt like it was something really good to talk about. So
Yeah, how not to be offended.
Yeah.
So, Gracie, why do we get offended in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of different reasons that we can get offended, but there's really two that it boils down to. And the first one is discomfort. I mean, people will say something that makes us uncomfortable. They'll say something that, maybe you don't want to believe is true. They'll say something that can make you feel disrespected, like they take your words
Out
a
of
different
context.
way, or they don't remember you, but
That's
they
right.
remember your husband. And
That's
so,
right.
or it might not meet your expectation of what you believe is true. And so, that could be one reason that you get offended. And then another reason that we get offended is because of past pains and insecurities. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, sometimes people will say something that can bring up a lot of old wounds and a lot of old feelings and old discomforts. And if we have stuffed those down and not dealt with them, then when we have those situations where they arise again, all of those old feelings just bubble up, and they can bubble over and cause us to be offended. And even if the situation that's right in front of you isn't that big of a deal, this over here might have been a huge deal. And so since we've stuffed those feelings down, these feelings abrupt over into this one. So those are two things that really can cause us to be offended for sure.
Yeah. Several years ago, I realized that being offended is a choice. A lot of times I think that we think offenses are things that we can't control. Like if you offend me, I'm just a victim of your offense. But in reality, I get to choose how I respond to anything that people say to me. And I don't always make the right choice, but taking offense is a choice. And so if I don't like the feeling of being offended, which I don't know many of us that do like the feeling of being offended, then I can choose another choice. And what I'm not going to say is, and just choose to be happy and it's all going to be fine, because I don't think that is a choice that is available to most of us in the moment. So this is not just a get over it and be happy about it kind of a thing, or just forget it. But I think that we do need to choose another option, because when we get offended, it puts our brain into fight or flight. And then we can't even think straight. We think we're thinking with real clarity when in fact our brain is just, you mentioned your blood pressure.
Yes.
All of the oxygen is kind of sucked out of our mind, and we're not able to think clear, and our, hearts are racing, and our pulse is just elevated. And so what we need to do is choose another emotion, choose another option. So it's not just get over it and be happy. But I think the first thing that we need to do is give people the benefit of the doubt, and choose to trust their intention. Now, I understand that not everybody has your best intention at heart, but probably more often than you would like to admit, people just are unaware that what they have done is offensive to you. Mm-hmm. They did not intend it. They did not mean it. A lot of times it just doesn't come out the right way. It's, it just as you were misunderstood, other people can be misunderstood in responding to you. And so we can give people the benefit of the doubt and choose trust over offense. Now, I understand, though, that sometimes people really do intend to offend you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that those people are in the majority, but I do know that there are people that are out there that just want to put people down and put people in their place and really do intend harm. And so what do you choose instead of offense when someone intends to offend you? You can choose pity. You can choose compassion. You can choose to look for and identify that other person's hurt. Because the reality is that hurt people hurt people. Mm-hmm. And so if someone is intending to offend you, it's probably because they have been hurt themselves. Yeah. And so I would much rather choose compassion over offense, because it doesn't put me in a victim's kind of posture. Mm-hmm. It puts me in control to say, hey, I'm choosing to offer you compassion because I think that you're probably reacting to me because you've been hurt as well. Mm-hmm. So the next time you have the opportunity to be offended, maybe you might choose to, number one, give somebody the benefit of the doubt, mm-hmm. and say, I'm going to assume that you meant the best for me. And you can even say, hey, so I assume that this is not what you meant, but this is how I felt. Mm-hmm. And so you can work that out with that person. Or if you know, hey, this person did not have my best intention at heart, then you can choose compassion, you can choose pity, and you can choose to, in your mind, begin to try to think about how they might have been hurt and how that might be causing them to hurt you as well.
Man, that was so good. I needed my notepad to be writing some notes down. So for more little things that make a big difference, be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and like and comment on this video. If you've used these tips today for your next opportunity to be offended.
Exactly.
And be sure to join us on Facebook and Instagram at The Chapel Online. And we look forward to hearing how all of this has made a big difference in your life.